Lay a foundation so you can see that this chemical project is not anything new. And remember, everything the government does, they call it a project, or they call it, they have another word, and I can't remember what it is, but they give everything they do names. It's just like putting it in a folder. Oh, you work on this. Oh, you've got this over here. They got all their little groups and all their little projects doing stuff.
What is up, you heathens and demons? Welcome back to The Raging Atheist. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and that's right, today we are going to be delving back into the insane madness of Three Hearts Church. And today this lady's going to be giving you the normal conspiracy theory spin. And we're going to just be talking some logic to her craziness, and it should be a lot of fun.
Okay. So let's look at this first picture here. And you might think this is like, how is this going to fit into what I'm talking about, right? So here's this big, huge Bayer aspirin box, right? Says in 1984, Bayer became aware that several batches of this factor 8 contained HIV. Some medicine that they were making contained the HIV virus. They knew this because there was an outbreak of HIV among hemophiliac children, and this outbreak was traced back to Bayer.
Alright, so right off the gate, she's going to get into Bayer, and Bayer is going to be one of the great evils of the world, and that's right, they might solve your headache problems, but they're trying to kill you as they do it. And now obviously everything she's going to be talking about is going to be somewhat based on truth. What she's talking about did actually happen. Now, I'm going to give you why I think it happened, which is going to be the logical truth, without having to do too much research on it. And it's fairly easy to see that what she's saying is just a spin to put some evil intentions into something that happened quite honestly by accident.
Unable to sell their factor 8 in the United States, Bayer, with the FDA's permission, that means their approval. And it says, yes, that's right, the FDA allowed Bayer to potentially kill thousands. They sold this HIV-infected medicine to Argentina, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and Singapore after February 1984, according to the documents obtained by the New York Times.
Now this chick is obviously nuts. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be some superior intelligence to use your ability to logic your way into an understanding about AIDS, and especially when it first came out, the lack of information. People were terrified of it. People were terrified of it, and they didn't know how it was being spread. So yes, I can quite honestly see how a mistake would happen, how if you didn't quite understand yet that it's a blood-borne disease, that companies that sell blood products might have a problem. They didn't have screenings for HIV back then. This was right when it was really first in the public eye, and science was scrambling to figure out what was going on with AIDS. Now, I'm not going to sit here and justify some multi-billion-dollar corporation and their intentions. I tend to believe that most corporations intend to make money, and the crazy preacher is going to make that point, and I'll be combating it to a certain extent. But do I believe that in 1984, Bayer intentionally released this medicine knowing that it was going to give people AIDS? No, and the evidence doesn't bear that out. Now, did Bayer give medication that resulted in people getting AIDS? Yes, they did. But did they know they were doing it? No, they didn't.
The document showed how Cutter Biological, a division of Bayer, shipped more than 100,000 vials of unheated concentrate worth more than $4 million after it began selling the safer product. So they were already aware of what had happened and what was going on. And they were like, oh, we're going to make our money off of this regardless if it's tainted or what have you.
I do agree that they're going to make their money. They're going to make their money. But I can't agree that they would have done it had they known that that medication would have resulted in people getting AIDS. I can't agree with that because the evidence doesn't show that. Maybe they would have, maybe they hid that information, but I honestly believe that in the investigation that would have been uncovered. The investigation turned up yet that yes, they did sell this medication, but no, they did not have intent to give these people AIDS. All you have to do is Google it. You can figure that out for yourself. But what is Bayer? Bayer is a German-based company. Bayer was around during World War II. Bayer was in Germany during World War II. And this is going to be the true source of this woman's ire and the true source of her conspiracy theory.
We'll just go over here and sell it in a different market. Listen to this. The result of this sale of HIV-tainted medication ended up infecting tens of thousands and killing thousands. Thousands of innocent children and adults have died at the hand of this corporation, and no punitive action has been taken against them. Nothing. They didn't get anything. Nothing happened to them at all. The health department leaders in Argentina, Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and Singapore were all imprisoned, while the U.S. FDA continues down its hellish path.
Now, what the unintelligent, what the indoctrinated, what the brainwashed people that refuse to see the truth can't see is that in 1984, and I was still a fairly young child, but I can still remember the hysteria that surrounded AIDS. You know, I remember when Philadelphia came out in the late 80s and how it was so explosive because it was one of the first times that you really had a societal discussion about the impact of AIDS. And I mean, nobody knew what the hell it was. Nobody knew how you was getting it. You know, they called it that fag disease. You remember that? They thought the only way you could get it is if you were a homosexual. And that was the conspiracy theory, is that the government created it to get rid of the homosexual community. You know, see, back then they just didn't understand that it was a bloodborne disease. They were scrambling to figure it out. There was mass hysteria, and mistakes were made, and they just didn't know. And not to mention, on top of that, these countries that you're talking about had much different regulations than America had. Now, I'm not one to defend the U.S. government much at all. I think our government is terrible. Do I think that they're out maliciously trying to kill its citizenry? No. Do I think that they're trying to hold its power, gain more expansion with the imperial realm that is the United States? Yes, I do believe that. Do I think that we live in an oligarchy? Do I think that corporations like Bayer buy governments? Yes, I do believe that. Do I believe that corporations like Bayer are trying to kill people intentionally? No, I don't. I don't believe that. Now, we're going to have a discussion about what they might have done during World War II. We're going to have that discussion. But do I think they're trying to do that now? I can't believe that.
And I just will insert right quick that it seems that the United States is one of the biggest terrorists out there. You got something we want? Oh, we're going to come and get it. We're going to take it by force. If we have to crank up and start a fake war so we can go in there and get what we want, yeah, check into the wars and you'll find that out. It's sick, y'all.
Does America do evil shit? Yes. We always have. Since the inception of our democracy, we have done shit that has been evil. Slavery was evil. The genocide of the Native Americans was evil. The Civil War, killing our own people over the question of slavery, that was evil. All war fought is evil, in my opinion. I am a liberal. I am a leftist. I am anti-war, except for in the most extreme occasions. Do I think that the U.S. government has done evil shit? Yes. Yes, I do. I think most rational people understand that our government isn't a true representation of the spirit of America. And that requires voting to vote this establishment out, but you're too dumb to realize that. Now, I'm not sure if Pastor Sherry here is a Trumper. I think that she hates the government so much she might not be anything. I think there's a good chance she is a Trumper. I think there's a good chance that she votes for Republicans because she would associate Republicans with her evangelical bullshit. So I think that there's a good chance of that. So if she is continually voting in the Republicans that are starting these wars, well, you can't really be against it. You can't really be against that. If you're voting in these Republicans that take these money, all this money from these big corporations like you're railing against that are supposedly killing you, well then you're a hypocrite. But of course, I mean, I haven't really been able to find her political views. She just spits this crazy ass conspiracy theory nonstop. I mean, I'm flipping through her videos earlier and I'm like, holy shit, I'm stuck on this weather warfare for a year and there's all this material. So no, I'm going to do these last 2 videos on Bayer and then we're going to go to something else because there's so much crazy in the Three Hearts Church page. It's insane. And that's why they're a crazy cult. They're you know, it's so easy for your religious dogma to be twisted in your mind that you can believe almost any crazy thing if just presented to you in a somewhat feasible way.
All right. When asked about the sale of the tainted Factor 8, Bayer responded. Listen to this mumbo jumbo, because this is what they do a lot of times on TV. They just say some fancy fluff words, and at the end of it, you're like, what? Sometimes you're like, what did they even say? That's what they do. It's some of their double speak where they're not really saying anything. Decisions made nearly 2 decades ago were based on the best scientific information of the time and were consistent with the regulations in place. This can be interpreted as Bayer asking the FDA for permission to murder children for profit and the FDA giving its approval.
No, it doesn't mean that at all. You lying, conniving con man, con woman. It doesn't mean that at all. What that means is, based on the scientific knowledge of the time and the regulations of these countries, what they did was perfectly legal. They didn't have any intent on killing anybody. They didn't have any intent on people getting AIDS. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing that those people got AIDS. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's a good thing that this mistake was made. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, give me proof that they were trying to give these people AIDS. Give me that proof, and then you know what? We can talk about the whole Aryan shit you're going to be going into either in this video or the next. We can talk about that. We can talk about how, yeah, maybe there's still an offshoot of Hitler trying to make that white race. I have just seen no evidence of it, and I have tried to research this a little bit before I made this video.
According to the New York Times, the Food and Drug Administration's regulator of blood products, Dr. Harry Meyer, asked that the issue be quietly solved without alerting the Congress, the medical community, and the public. So, shh, let's just sweep it under the carpet. Let's just get this out of the way. Let's not really tell anybody what's going on, okay?
Now we can have a debate on whether or not that is a good judgment. I would probably be on the side of it being a good judgment call. But what you're saying, like this is some great conspiracy and this is your smoking gun, that they had this memo or whatever it is saying that they need to kind of sweep this under the carpet. Let's think about this logically. Now, we're talking about blood-borne medications here. We're talking about medications for people with blood diseases that will kill them if they don't take their medication. You know, you don't want to cause a hysteria. Now, the new medication, the heat-treated medication, would kill the HIV virus. This is based upon the newest scientific knowledge, and they're trying to push it out, and nobody knows this. So, of course, they want that old medication until they know for sure that this is, you know, what it says it is. And at this time, you know, AIDS being a blood-borne disease was not common knowledge. They were trying to learn. They were trying to figure this massive this plague on humanity out. So I mean, everything this woman and people like this would believe, it's so easy to just twist the truth a little bit to get them to believe this crazy shit and to have them live in fear. And if you're in fear, then you need somebody. You need some savior, whether it be Jesus or the government or whatever it is. If you live your life in fear, then you need a hero.
Oh, they did all right. They didn't tell nobody, and they went right on with their little killing machine. No one in the government nor Bayer have been charged with anything in regards to this matter. Bayer continues to sell its Factor VIII medication to this day. Now, let's learn something about good old Bayer.
Good old Bayer wasn't charged, and neither was the U.S. government, because they didn't really do anything wrong. I know you want to put this on them, but it was seriously just an honest mistake that resulted in the death of people. But if you look on the other side of that, how many countless lives were saved with these medications, and how many lives were saved with the new medication that did kill the AIDS, and they were able to actually get that through in such a quick amount of time, really. Now, I'm not trying to take away from the thousands of people that got this disease, and how that this might have spread the disease along faster than it would have been spread otherwise. We can talk about that, but if you're going to try to say that this company had ill intent, or that the U.S. government had ill intent, there's just no evidence of it.
So I saw this old-timey Bayer-looking ad right here, right? What I want you to see is it says, "For your protection," in bold letters. And then it has like what we know to be the Bayer aspirin, with the Bayer going down and Bayer going across. Now look over here. It says, "The Bayer Cross, your guarantee of purity." What? Just because they stamped that on there, they're saying, oh, you can trust us. This is your guarantee of purity. Yeah, it's a guarantee of something. Let's see what. Look down just below. I pulled this picture. The crosses of the Knights Templar. I pulled that one because it's the one that matches up with what's on the Bayer aspirin.
I mean, you didn't think that we'd go this whole video without some really, really crazy fucking illustrations and photographs put together and some really cuckoo conspiracy theories. Yet we had to go right to the Knights Templar. Because, of course, even though they've been dead now for, 200 years, they're behind the root of all evil when it comes to the Christian religion. I mean, they're the ones that, they were heathens, right? They had to be beheaded because they were worshiping demons. Not really accurate. They had to be beheaded because they wouldn't give kings loans when they wanted it. That's pretty much what it came down to. They had the best banking system in the world. People were jealous. They had all that money, and they wanted to take them out. But you want to put everything on the Knights Templar. Alright. But, you know, notice how one of those Knights Templar crosses isn't like she's saying it is. It isn't. It's like an actual representation of the Jesus cross. It's not, perfectly squared. It's more rectangular in nature. So what she just said was kind of bullshit.
When you get a little short, fat cross that the length and the width is the same, you better believe that is a Masonic cross. So they're telling you right there, we're part of the secret society. We are Masons, and we have bowed down to Satan.
Actually, the Masons have lots and lots and lots of symbolatry involved in their organization. And of course, if you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, you got to talk Knights Templar and you got to talk Freemasons. Now, but let's take aside that history has never proven that the Knights Templar went on to become the Freemasons. The Freemasons has actually been around longer than the Knights Templar. Sorry, the Freemasons have been around since King Solomon, supposedly. So the argument bears no merit. The most logical conspiracy theory, if you want to get into it, is that the Knights Templar would go on to infiltrate the Illuminati, take that organization over, and turn it into a killing New World Order machine, which is another conspiracy theory that these cuckoos like to believe. And it wouldn't surprise me if she didn't believe that. If she didn't have if she didn't just believe that the Knights Templar were the root of all evil, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And again, she's going to be talking about this little short, fat, square cross. Crosses come in many varieties, have throughout the history of humankind. Idiot.
That whole company, okay? And you can look here. These are other forms of different crosses that are also with the Masons. and it tells you about them. The Knights Templar is a secret Masonic organization made up of a few factions of knighthood, and they list some of them out there. Okay.
History literally says that the Knights Templar were pretty much massacred on some date far in the past, Friday the 13th. It's where the Friday the 13th superstition came from, that it's a bad luck day. And they were massacred, and I'm not even going to say that some remnant of the order didn't go into hiding and become some secret society. We all know that the powerful love to play their games. I'm not going to argue against that. I don't know if the Knights Templar became this or that, if they're still the Knights Templar, if they are the New World Order. I have no idea, and really, frankly, I don't give a shit. My enemy, personally, is the oligarchy. So if they did exist, they would be a part of that. Like I said, they were the world's foremost bankers. They practically invented banking. That's going to be all of the craziness for today with this video. We're going to get back into it. She's not done talking about Bayer. She hasn't even really gotten into the whole Hitler Association. We'll get into that in the next video. Just wanted to wet you guys' beak with some crazy cult bullshit once again. It's been a while. Been focusing on Matt Powell. Gave you a couple cult bunnies. But it's time to get back into the crazy shit. Hopefully you guys had fun. As always, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. This is The Raging Atheist. If you like my videos, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share me on your social media. Comment in the comment section below. I'll see you soon.